Good morning, everybody. I am picking this up right after I filmed the last clip for the last vlog, but today I've got quite a bit of stuff to do. So just a forewarning for those of you that did not watch my weekend reading vlog, starting off my Battle of the Bookish vlogs for this month. This week's going to be a little weird because if you guys watched the vlog from last week, you'll know that I am going to be actually having to put down both of my rats that I have on Wednesday. If somehow, this week I do start crying at one point or I don't have any footage for a couple of days, just know that that's why. I'm going to try to get through that the best I can because as I said in last week's vlog, it is really, really important that, they don't suffer any more than they already have. And it will be better for them to go now than have myself wake up one day and find one of them dead in the cage. And I will not be able to go with my husband to go put them down when he goes because more than likely I will be working. Anyway, let's move on. So this week, my goal is to get through the rest of the Eye of the World. I basically will be pushing back quite a few of the books I have this month, which is fine. It's not a huge deal. There's quite a few of them I could probably get through super quick. Anyway, so I do have quite a bit on my plate today because I do want to get through more of this. Today I want to get to this second little orange tab because my goal yesterday was to get to this first orange tab and that did not happen. But that second orange tab is going to be at page 358. I am really liking this so far, and actually I think I'm enjoying this so much more than I would have expected because I don't really remember a lot of what I had read the first time. I don't really know anything of what happened. Other than that, today I've got quite a bit of stuff done already. I cleaned up the kitchen and broke down boxes that were in the kitchen, so there's actually a kitchen floor now, which is really nice. Took that outside, got some trash taken care of, and I just posted my TBR for January onto my Instagram. I think what I'm gonna do first though is edit last week's reading vlog because it's gonna take me a little bit of time to get through some of that. And once that's done, I can upload it and have it scheduled for Friday, which will make things a lot easier. I can spend a little bit more time kind of relaxing. I do want to do some therapy work because I'm kind of starting to do this thing where I have this workbook my therapist told me to grab because it was by an author that I read a book of that I really enjoyed in terms of helping with my therapy. And it is the Mindful Self-Compassion Workbook, Dr. Kristen Neff and Dr. Christopher Germer. So definitely recommend this, especially if you read Kristen Neff's book, Self-Compassion. It is basically the workbook that kind of works along with that book. Really love Self-Compassion. It actually taught me a lot about myself and I think was probably the best recommendation my therapist could have given me. And we talked about the idea of being able to do some work outside of therapy with this. So I'm gonna basically every day be going through and doing one of these exercises that I've tabbed. Today's exercise is going to be, let me see. And I also go through and highlight some of the information that is throughout the book because it does have some talk about what is self-compassion, what it isn't, that stuff. Today's exercise is going to be talking about my misgivings about self-compassion. So kind of what do I, what are the things that I've been thinking about self-compassion that it actually isn't kind of thing. So that's been going well so far. And I do want to go upstairs and log some more stuff into my spreadsheet. Yesterday, I was able to log authors A through D while I was doing reading sprints with Princess. And now today I want to get through authors with the last name of E that are on my physical TBR. I do have several more books that are coming in through Barnes & Noble from their half off hardcover sale and also things I bought on Amazon a couple weeks ago because I was buying the last books I wanted to and could before my book buying ban started. So I have a couple of them that I think should be arriving today at some point. And somehow mistakenly, my Barnes & Noble order got sent to my parents' house. So there's a big box that's going to be there and then another book. And then the last book that I have from there is going to be there tomorrow, I think. So my mom is probably going to bring that over to me sometime this coming week. I do want to do my witchy studying, which I think I'll do while my footage is rendering to edit, which if you're curious is what I'm reading for my practice. Currently I'm working through The Year of the Witch by Temperance Alden. This is basically a really condensed kind of book talking about the seasons and essentially talking about the different Sabbats and how exactly like different kinds of people will, you know, celebrate certain things. Like the last chapter I read was about Yule, which just passed, which is for other people Christmas, and the next one, which actually is going to be happening at the very end of the month, is Imbolc, which is good because I would like to have some ideas going into Imbolc at the end of this month, going into February, what I can do. It's very quick to read, it's very informative, and it's definitely like a really good beginner book, I think, for a lot of practicing witches or people that are interested in learning more about the different practices of different witches, because it's not just, you know, Wicca. This is not necessarily like Wicca at all. This is more of like your just kind of eclectic witch. This is good for any kind of witch, just to understand the different practices, the different cycles and the seasons, and basically like what a lot of people seem to do in different parts of the world when it comes to celebrating those seasons. And I have been actually doing some reading too of the Norse mythology, because I am a follower, I guess, of Freya. She is one of the guides that I have kind of latched myself onto, and because of that I wanted to basically read some of the stories that are within the Norse mythology. I have several books on Norse mythology, and it's always like by itself just always been an area I've been super fascinated with. Any kind of mythology from any of the pantheons, really, like I will read it. I adore reading the history and the stories that are coming from these, you know, areas of the world that are not the US. Currently, the story I'm on is the All-Father's Forebodings, How He Leaves Asgard. So this is basically about how Odin leaves Asgard. So for my Battle of the Bookish people, if you're at all curious about, you know, my Norse team, reading anything about the Norse mythology, I highly recommend this. This is Nordic Gods and Heroes by Padraic Colum, with illustrations by Willie Pagani. This is a really well-crafted and easy to understand way of telling the stories of the Norse mythology. So my personal favorite, though, has to be the one where Loki cuts Sif's hair, because he gets in so much trouble. And it's no surprise at all to me that the center of a lot of the beginning stories of this is Loki just being a dick, because he very much is that kind of a god. He's a trickster god. He is the god of mischief, chaos. In some places they think of him as the god of fire, which it's never been 100% proven, but it is likely, because he does do a lot with stuff with fire. It's just very interesting. So to any of my Norse team people who are interested in reading the mythology of the Norse gods and goddesses, definitely check into that, because it's a very, very well done, I think, kind of collection of the stories, and it definitely like has the tone of like an older kind of story, but it makes it very plain. It doesn't like, it's not super complicated to where you won't understand anything that's going on. And then at some point I want to work on my diamond painting, which I don't know. I'm kind of like hesitant to get back to it, because with my wrist, it's going to be really hard for me to be able to put colors down. My wrist is actually feeling a lot better. The only reason I'm wearing my brace is because it's kind of just keeping my wrist stabilized so that my fingers can have a little bit more stability, because now the pain has shifted basically to around my knuckles, and it only hurts every now and then. But I figured until I'm 100% better and not, you know, less than that, I'm going to keep the brace on as much as I can. But I don't want to aggravate it too much. I think I may have tried to aggravate it a little bit with breaking down the boxes, even though I wore my brace while breaking down boxes. So I'm just going to try to take it a little easy until I know for a fact that my wrist is 100% better, because I don't want to make it any worse and cause any further injury. Especially since I have to go back to work tomorrow, and like I have to be on my laptop. So anyway, let's check in and see what exactly the score is so far for Battle of the Bookish, because I haven't done an update with that at all as of yet. So if I go into our spreadsheet for the readathon, currently we have the Egyptian team at 600 points total with an average of 100 points. The Norse team at 1,975 total points and an average of 246.88 points. and the Greek team at 1,740 points with an average of 174 points. So currently the Norse team on day 3 is in the lead, which there's still a lot of time to get your points in. Just to make sure to remember to put your books in when you finish to get your points. The Eye of the World, when I get through this, is going to be a very nice 100 points, which is going to be great, but there is still so much time in the month. It's going to be anybody's game at this point, and I'm very excited to see how everyone's doing. I know that with last night's sprints, a lot of people were able to finish their books and get points in, so definitely like just get your stuff in, enjoy it, and obviously like don't stress about it. It's it's just a fun game. Like it's not really anything too much. We're just trying to have a good time. Oh, and the other thing I want to do at some point today is I want to write. Like I want to write a chapter of my book, but that's not going to take much. So, excuse me. Anyway, my battery is going to die, so I need to go and get this and the other one charged, and I need to get my video edited. So I'll check in with you guys later once I've made some more progress with the Eye of the World. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to read today until I can actually get through some of the stuff I have on my to-do list. And I do want to watch a movie today at some point, but I don't know what's going to happen with that. I don't really know. So. Hey guys, it is much later in the evening, and I have not really moved from this spot at all. It is currently 9:52 in the evening. Just dropped my phone. I've been sitting here for the last couple of hours working on my diamond painting, and I'm nearly done with where I wanted it to be today. This is the image. It's basically like a forest waterfall area that's all kind of purple based, and if you guys can kind of tell, I've done a lot of the dark purple, a lot of the white, and I'm getting through some dark blue for the water. So yeah, been doing pretty well with that. Anyway, today I ended up getting 3 of these little packages. They all have 1 book in them each, and these are books I bought a couple weeks ago. They're all part of the same series. It just took them a while to get to me because they were coming from across the country, and then with like Christmas and New Year's and stuff, but I figured I'd open and share with you guys what I ended up getting. This is not from the same series. This is a whole different one. Anyway, I have a copy of Pet Sematary. So I did rate this a 3-star, and you can tell there's a little bit of damage on it. I just bought this used basically, but I did rate this 3 stars. And it's not my favorite of Stephen King's work, but I do want to have his entire collection, so I thought I would obtain this because I thought it was still good enough. I liked the characters a lot in this, so I thought it would still be good to have it. So I did end up purchasing 3 books from the Percy Jackson series, one of which I got a couple days ago, but this one is book number 2, The Sea of Monsters. The last one I ended up getting was book 3, so now I have the first 3. I do have another book coming in sometime this coming week, and it's going to be Salem's Lot by Stephen King because I read that a long time ago. It was one of the first Stephen King books I read on my channel for like my Stephen King reading series, and I wanted to get a physical copy of it, so I just got like another used copy. All of these are from used booksellers on Amazon, so they were quite a bit cheaper. All right, here we go. So then here, like I said, I have book 4, the Percy Jackson series, The Battle of the Labyrinth. So I now have books 1 through 4 of the series. Also, at the end of last week, I also ended up getting the box set of the Shadow and Bone trilogy by Leigh Bardugo, and then because that came with my webcam that I had ordered, and then also a laptop like height thing, and then I had also bought the I have the 5th one. Okay, so I have 1 through 5. Good. I thought I only had 1 through 4, but I do have the 5th one because that came in last week with my copy of Roadwork by Stephen King. So I'm basically waiting on, like I said, Salem's Lot to come in, and then I do have a diamond painting that I had bought when I had placed the order for my webcam and stuff, but it's not supposed to get here until supposedly Sunday, but it doesn't even look like it's been shipped out as of yet. Today I did a lot of stuff, but I didn't finish everything that I wanted to do on my to-do list. I think after I get this color for my diamond painting done, I'm going to call it a night because I do have to work tomorrow, so I'm going to have to go to bed a little earlier. So I haven't done any reading today, but that's fine. It's not a huge deal, but I did get everything else done today besides writing, reading, and doing my spreadsheet for today, and I did not watch my movie. I ended up watching Survivor instead because I was in a much more of a mood where I wanted to watch Survivor. Tomorrow, like I said, have to work. I'm going to be pretty busy over the course of the day, you know, provided that there's stuff for me to come in with for work. I'm sure that with it being the beginning of the year and everybody coming back, there's going to be some work for me to do. I want to basically go on our TikTok for Battle of the Bookish to post the schedule for the YouTube sprints I'm going to be doing on Saturdays for the rest of the month. And then I'm going to clean the living room during my lunch, do my other little things like my therapy work, my studying, try to write a little bit tomorrow, go through and do stuff for my spreadsheet, do a little bit of diamond painting probably, and also tomorrow I have to get a little bit of laundry done, which is pretty good. I think that a lot of that stuff I can probably do during my lunch. Good morning, everybody. I come to you at about 10:30 in the morning from the comforts of my bed where I have been working for the last 2.5 hours. Now, I'm going to sit here for a little bit longer while I sit and talk to you, but I will be moving my workspace upstairs into my library. I just decided I really didn't want to get out of bed for work today. Today is also my late grandfather's birthday, so today I'm going to show you guys a little bit of some stuff I'm going to do for him. I do have permission from my guides to do this. They've given me permission to do things in the past, it's just I've been still a little too nervous to do it. So I feel comfortable enough doing this right now. It's just a very simple little thing, nothing too crazy. It just basically leaving an offering and basically then also lighting a candle for him that I found actually last weekend that I really, really liked. For some reason, I smelled it and it just smelled immediately like something that he would have worn as like a cologne. It has been almost 11 years since my grandfather passed away. He passed away January 21st of 2011, and I was 13 years old at the time. So, and for those of you that don't know, I have a tattoo of his signature on my wrist. My younger sister has one on her bicep. It's the same signature. She just has it done a little bit differently than I do. But my grandfather was somebody that was very, very important to me. He pretty much was there for everything growing up. Every dance recital, choir concert, production, whatever it is that we were in, softball game, you know, whatever it is that my sister and I were in, he was there for. And he also would come over to my parents' house every Saturday to play cards with my parents and my mom's parents, who lived next door to my parents. I'm gonna get into a little bit of some sensitive content because I never really talked about exactly like how his death really affected me. So I will place a trigger warning here for death of family members or something like that here, because it's going to get a little bit sad. And I did warn you guys in last week's vlog that this was probably going to have a little bit of sad content because this week was going to be pretty rough. When he passed away, it was something where we kind of knew it was going to happen at some point, but we didn't expect it to happen in the way that it did. My grandfather was not very good about taking care of himself. He had diabetes, he had high blood pressure, and he just never really like took very good care of himself. He had a very poor diet, was a smoker. He, you know, just didn't really like do a lot to help himself basically. He lived alone. And he lived a couple minutes from my parents. He lived more in town than where my parents are. So he was fairly close by. And a few weeks before his passing, just after Christmas, basically, we had heard from him that he was basically down with the flu or something like that. Like, he just wasn't feeling very well. So he missed a couple of card nights. And usually if he was going to miss a card night for one reason or another, he would let us know. Usually ahead of time, like the day of or something like that. And he told us, you know, a couple weeks before he passed that he wasn't feeling good. And then we went about, I don't know, something like 2 weeks or so had gone by, and we really hadn't heard from him very much, if at all. And basically my parents knew something was wrong. Me at the age of 13 didn't think much of it, just, you know, because when you're that young and you've not really ever experienced a very traumatic kind of death, in the way that I did. Like, I had known a couple people who passed away, but death was not something at that time that I was super familiar with. It wasn't something that I thought about, a lot in terms of the fact that, like, I had family members who were dying. If anybody had died, it was family I didn't really know, or family friends that, were fairly old, that I didn't have a good connection with by themselves. Like, my parents had better connections with them than I did. My grandfather's death was the first death that I really had a hard time dealing with, because, like I said, he was there for basically everything. And so when we found out he had passed away, it was really hard. I still, to this day, nearly 11 years later, remember exactly what had happened the day that we found out that he passed. And it's still, like, I still can feel like a tightness in my chest just at the memory of the day we found out. And I will say that after we found out, there's a lot between that and, like, the couple weeks after I don't really remember much of, because, I was kind of in a fog. What I do remember is that a couple months after he passed away, I was in my first musical I ever did. I was in the 8th grade, and I did Guys and Dolls Jr. with several friends. It was the first musical I'd ever been in, first play I'd really ever been in either. And when it came to rehearsals, everything was fine. I was having a good time, all that stuff. And then it came to our first show night. It was opening night, and I was excited because, I could see people coming in to take seats and stuff. And I don't know why it didn't hit me until then, but it hit me that this was going to be the first thing that I was going to do without my grandfather being present. And I had a panic attack. And I just remember basically being in a corner, hyperventilating, crying, and not knowing whether or not I could actually go through with being on stage because my grandfather was not there. And I had a lot of friends who came up and understood what was going on, and, like, because they knew that he passed, and a lot of them knew who he was because he was very, very, he was hard to miss, kind of. He was one of those guys who was very hard to miss in a crowd. And a lot of people who I grew up with just were familiar with him. They knew who he was, they knew that he was my grandfather, all those things. And I just remember that a lot of my friends were, like, really, really supportive. They sat with me as I cried and comforted me the best they could, because we were all, like, 13 and younger at the time. And so, like, it's not something that any of us really could, like, 100% understand unless you had lost somebody like that. And somehow in that half-hour span between that panic attack and the beginning of the show, because I had to go out, like, I was one of the first people out for the beginning number, I somehow managed to pull it together, and I was able to go on stage and do my part and get done with it, and then I was able to do the whole show. It was just really leading up to that first step that really scared me, because it was the realization that one of my biggest supporters was no longer there was really hard for me. I think it kind of also gave me, though, the ability to recognize that I can do things without him. It never got any easier, do not get me wrong. Every play I did after that, in high school and in college, it still was really hard. Every dance recital, every softball game I played after he passed away, it was hard to do without him. But the more I was able to do it, the better it became. And I think that that is something that a lot of people, when they talk about their grief, they talk about, where, every day it seems like it's going to be really hard, but it does end up actually getting easier and easier. And to talk about him now is a lot easier than it was when I was, younger. And then there are days when it's not easy at all. My younger sister, for one, she is incredibly sentimental. And unfortunately, she's never really 100% gotten over, like, in the sense, like, she hasn't really ever finished grieving. I think I've pretty much finished my grief a long time ago, but I still have moments where it still hurts that he's not around. Like, for instance, when I got married, that was a really, really hard realization the day I got married that he was not gonna be there. And that freaking sucked. But I know he was there with me still, because he came to me in a dream a couple days before the wedding and said that, you know, he was happy. He was happy to see that I was marrying somebody that I loved, who actually coincidentally I met in that musical that I performed in after he passed away. The man that I married is a guy that I met in that show. My sister is incredibly sentimental, and so anytime you mention his name or anything to do with him, she still can to this day will cry, will tear up. And it's because, like I said, he had such an impact on the both of us. My sister, for those of you that don't know, is a huge softball player, bigger than I was. Like, she went and did travel league, she played in college. It's always been a part of her life. Whereas for me, I stopped about my freshman year of high school. When it came to like my sister playing softball and continuing that without him, it was definitely very hard. Like, it was something where, as happy as she was playing, it also hurt her in a lot of ways to know that he wasn't there. Tangent aside, basically today is a very important day for me to recognize this man, and that's partially why I was talking about him today, is because it is his birthday. I want to keep his memory alive as much as I can, but I just want to share with you guys a little bit about my life and kind of about somebody who meant a lot to me. And today I would like to honor that man by talking about him and by giving him the offering that I have prepared for him, which is his favorite alcoholic drink, which was a 7-7. I don't think I got the right alcohol. I got Seagram's gin, and I think you're supposed to get whiskey. But it's the attempt that counts, right? That's all that matters. But I also, like I said, have a candle that I will light for him that I think reminds me of him very, very much. Anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna take all my crap that I have with me here and go upstairs in my library and prepare all that stuff, because today my work day is fairly slow. It's the first day everybody's back from the holidays, and so it's not going to be super busy by any means for probably a good couple of days. Also, I did finish up that diamond painting work that I did yesterday. I basically got 3 colors done. My wrist is a little sore, but not too bad. It's just because I haven't really used it much today, so it's a little stiff, but stretching it feels good. So it's not like in a massive amount of pain. It just, I definitely worked it yesterday doing that diamond painting, so I might take a break today from it, but we'll see how I'm feeling. I think I might just go put my brace on for a little bit and go from there. So I'm actually deciding I am going to place his altar on this table here, because this table actually was my B-Baw's. It is a U of M stadium table. Basically, it has the picture of the Ann Arbor football stadium on the, like, inside the glass. It's something that was a piece of furniture that was his that I specifically had asked to keep because I really enjoyed it. And I might cry here, but I'm going to share with you guys something that when I had received this, that I found in the drawer. I apologize if I do start crying. It's just really, really important. So inside this drawer, it's one drawer in the table. Sorry. I know this seems really stupid to be super emotional about because it's just a receipt. But if you look at the date on it, this is the receipt for a couple gift cards that my B-Baw had got for me and Tori for Christmas. The Christmas before he passed away. It was one of the last Christmas gifts I got from him. And I found that a couple years ago, shortly after getting the table. We didn't know that there was even a drawer on this thing, and I opened it and found these receipts, and I thought that they were just receipts I was going to throw away, and then I realized that it was from the last Christmas I spent with him. So, needless to say, as silly as it may seem, I have kept it in there, and it's gonna stay in there for the rest of time, but I thought what might be really nice is to officially move all of his stuff I have for him, which isn't very much, mind you, but it's enough for me, and that's all that matters. I'm gonna move him over to this table, because this is his table. This is, you know, this was his from as long as I can remember, so we're gonna move him over with some of his little things he has, and I'm sorry I'm spinning you around so much, but we're gonna set him up over here. This is another relic of his. This is just a little Michigan football helmet, little decoration, but very much reminds me of him, so I would like to keep this on his altar as well. So we're gonna put that right over here. And then, this was my grandfather. This was my b-baw. I miss him so much. Some days, I miss him terribly. But this is him. This is the man that I loved with all my heart. And I just want to share him with you guys because he meant so much to me. I don't know how exactly I'm gonna set him up because I don't have a proper thing from, oh, actually, I think I might. I got this thing from my mom for Christmas. It's basically like almost like a little photo stand. Well, not really, it's more meant for post-it notes, but this will be perfect because I didn't know what else to use this for. Oh, that's angled. I didn't know really what else to use this for, so I'm gonna use the sleeve part of it to hold his picture because otherwise this would just hold like post-it notes I could put on my desk, but I don't think I'm gonna have really any room for it on my desk once I get it set up. So this is perfect. This is the perfect place to put the picture. So, it's not much, but it's enough for me, and that's what matters. I'm gonna go now downstairs and go grab his drink to put on the altar. There we go, 7 and 7. Again, I'm pretty sure you're supposed to use whiskey, not gin, but I didn't realize that until today. So we're gonna go with what we got, and he wouldn't honestly care. He just would be happy that he got something made by me. He would just drink it no matter what. So what I'm gonna do now is just take the incense, and I'm not gonna put it in the drink, but I'm just gonna try to cleanse the glass to prepare it for offering. I wish I had some of my mom's fried chicken because that would also be another really good offering. He absolutely loved when my mom would cook fried chicken. And honestly, it was fairly often we would have fried chicken for dinner when we would do card night because my mom knew he loved it so much. And so sometimes she would make it specifically for him. And sometimes we would go like 3 weeks where we would have fried chicken every Saturday night and then chicken pot pie every Sunday, to the point where I got so sick of chicken pot pie, honestly. And at the time too, it was really funny because my parents' oven wasn't really working super well. Like, it was basically on its way out. And I just remember that every Sunday when we would have to do the chicken pot pie after having had fried chicken the day before, I would hate it. It would just be like the worst thing imaginable, and I'd just be like, can I just have the rest of the fried chicken by itself? Like, that's all I want. But if I had some of my mom's fried chicken, I definitely would be putting it also on the altar as an offering, but I don't have any, unfortunately, and I don't really remember what he used to like in terms of chocolate. I feel like he was a Reese's kind of guy, but I can't be certain. So this is kind of what I've got for him, which I think is more than satisfactory. And this is the candle that I ended up going with. It is the Palo Santo from Bath & Body Works. I don't know why, But for one, Palo Santo is very cleansing. It is actually used a lot in place of things like white sage, where white sage is more of used in native practices. And while I do have native in my blood, I don't feel comfortable enough using it. And if I'm gonna use anything with sage, it's gonna be something like in a candle, where it's just the essential oil, not the actual plant itself. But this Palo Santo, for some reason, to me, always smells like something he would wear as like a cologne. So we're gonna light this in honor of my Viva on his birthday. And there we go. Birthday altar is complete. But thank you so much for joining me on that. Again, like I said, I like to show more of my practice as I can. It's something that is very important to me because it's been something I've been working with now for over a year. And I've always known that I had some kind of spiritual belief. I didn't know what exactly it was until around the time I got married, honestly, and was having dreams with my grandfather, and various guides that I knew were around. And I just really would like to share a little bit more of that with you guys because it is a part of my life and this is my channel. It's about me and my life and what, you know, I do. And it's not necessarily just bookish stuff. I have other things in my life that are important, and I figured it would be good to showcase that, especially since this month, the Battle of the Bookish is about gods and goddesses. Anyway, so I need to get back to doing a little bit of work before I have my lunch. I've got about 45 minutes until my lunch break, and while on my lunch break, I'm going to be cleaning up the house, basically. Today, I have to clean up the living room, and I have to get a load of laundry started so that tomorrow I can go ahead and fold and put away 3 weeks worth of laundry. Yeah, it's been a little rough for me in terms of like keeping up with my laundry. Laundry is the one thing I absolutely hate, and not even like just putting the laundry in the washer and the dryer. It is the folding. I hate folding laundry. It is the bane of my existence, and if my husband was home, I would just have him do it, but he works a lot, so I don't get the chance to do that. I think also this afternoon get started with reading some more of Eye of the World. I think that's going to be my goal, is during my lunch, get the living room cleaned up, start laundry, and then get started with reading Eye of the World today, because I haven't read anything since Sunday. I didn't read anything at all yesterday, and I really, really need to. So it's about 7 o'clock in the evening right now. I have finished work, then I took a shower, made dinner, and I've just basically been finishing up dinner and just kind of relaxing, figuring out what exactly I wanted to do. I was going to sit and write a couple chapters of my book, but I am not really in the mood to do that. I think if anything, I'm going to focus the rest of my evening on getting through more of the Eye of the World, because I really need to make some progress with it. I've been really slacking the last few days, and I'm currently on page 219. So today I have so far read about 48 pages worth of this, which is a good start, but I definitely need to make some more progress. So I'm going to go downstairs into the living room, and I think I'm going to do some reading sprints so that I can get started with this for today. I think I'm gonna probably try to go to bed around 11. That's usually when I go to bed, so I'll spend the next 4 hours or so getting through more of this. When I did sprints for 4 hours with everybody last time, I ended up getting like 140 pages read in that time. So if I can try to get something close to that, that'd be cool. But I don't know. Robert should hopefully be home really soon though too, so that I can spend some time with him tonight. I don't know what he wants to do in terms of like if he's going to sit in the living room with me or if he's going to come upstairs into his space and do stuff. I don't know. But I will say I got everything else done on my to-do list today except for writing and working on my diamond painting. And that is actually a really big feat. There's a lot of stuff I was able to do during the course of the workday during my breaks that I was kind of not sure if I wanted to try to do during the evening or not. But I want to say too that I do have an update on what's going on with the rats. At about 2 o'clock tomorrow, Robert will be taking them into the vet to have them officially put down. So tomorrow is probably going to be a very, very rough day for me. I will not be surprised if I don't film at all tomorrow, because I'm probably not going to be doing super well. It's really weird because I know that this is the right thing to do with my rats, but at the same time, like, I still am hurting. Like, it still really hurts, and I know if I think about it long enough, I'm going to start crying again, so I don't want to focus on it too much. I need to, like, be able to make my peace with it and move on in a sense, but I'm probably going to be very emotional tomorrow because they're going to be gone, and it's going to be really fucking weird to not have them around. This is a very, very emotional week for me, I guess. I am sorry if it is annoying to any of you, but this is my life. This is how I feel. This is how I am feeling, and if you don't like it, then I'm sorry, but maybe I'm not the YouTuber for you. Maybe I'm not the person you should be watching content of, but I am not going to apologize for crying in the sense that this is something that really hurts me, and I know that a lot of you respect that, and I know a lot of you, you know, will understand the crying. And honestly, I want to keep these kinds of things in my videos because not only are they a part of my life, but I also want to kind of normalize this idea of, like, you know, obviously, like, crying when you're sad and not holding in all of your emotions, and making peace with the fact that you're gonna be emotional about things. You're going to have moments in your life that are going to be very hard for you, and it is fine to feel the emotions you feel. It's important, though, that we as people, while we feel the emotions, we shouldn't latch on to them, which is where, unfortunately, a lot of people that deal with things like grief, that's where they struggle, is the holding on to the emotions for too long, and that's where it leads them to ruin. So I'm trying to, you know, give myself the grace to be able to, you know, feel what I am feeling, but I'm also trying to remind myself that I don't have to stay with that sadness. And because I am going to miss my rats very much, that is okay. But I don't have to basically hold on to that feeling if I don't think it is, like, serving me. If I feel like I have to hold on to it for a couple of days to kind of go through the grieving process, that is okay. But once I feel that the grieving process has been, you know, done and over with, then I think, you know, that is a time where I could say, okay, it's time to let go of those feelings. It is time to take the steps to moving on and having something different, which for us is going to be getting a dog when we have the ability to adopt one and figure out what exactly it is that we are going to get. So, like I said before, though, the dog is going to be couple weeks down the line, probably not until closer to February, because again, we need to figure out some stuff with our landlord, figure out what breed exactly we can't have in the house, because they do say that they don't want aggressive breeds, but we're not sure if there is a particular breed that we could get a puppy of that, you know, they would consider an aggressive breed. I don't remember if I mentioned it exactly in last week's vlog, but my father-in-law has a friend who he had got a German Shepherd from a litter that his dogs had, and that same person has another litter that has been born fairly recently. Like, they're not even a couple of weeks old. So for one, that's going to take some time for those puppies to, you know, be old enough to where that they could be adopted. But also, we don't know if our landlord would consider in a German Shepherd an aggressive breed, because they are very hyperactive, they are very protective, and it really depends on the person who, you know, thinks of what an aggressive breed is. I think of aggressive breeds as more of, like, you know, the pit bull Doberman, you know, thing, But I also know that the only reason they are considered aggressive is because of the way that people will tend to look at them. So the aggressive stereotype is more so like because of how everybody else sees them, and the lack of care that is done to those breeds, and how they're really villainized in a lot of ways. So unfortunately, though, that is the phrasing that our landlord uses for breeds such as Pits, Dobermans, that kind of thing. And personally, Robert and I would absolutely adore having Pits because he grew up with pit bulls his entire life, and all of the pit bulls that I had, met with, that were his growing up, are sweethearts. They are taken care of super well by his dad, and they are the kindest animals I've ever met. And so I would love to be able to get a pit bull and be able to take care of it properly so that it's a big baby. And that's the thing, is it's so funny. Pit bulls can be such big babies. If you really take care of them well, they are the biggest sweethearts in the world. And unfortunately, though, like I said, they don't want any pit bulls here, so we're hoping that maybe they'll let us have the German Shepherd, especially because it's going to be a puppy. But again, I don't know how that's going to go, because the reason we couldn't get a cat is because a cat, they said, is likely to spray everywhere, which if you get them fixed, they're not going to, but whatever. And so I don't know if they're going to be okay with us having a puppy, because it's likely they're going to make messes all over the place. So I don't know. We're going to see what exactly, is going to come up with that. If not, if we can't get the puppy, we are going to be adopting from the shelter. That was our first choice. And then we found out that my father-in-law's friend had another litter. And so we thought that would be really cool. But again, if the puppy is not in the cards for us, we're going to be adopting a dog from the shelter that my father-in-law works at, because I am always a believer in adopting, not shopping. I know that the puppy is technically shopping the idea, but truthfully, it's because this man, it's not that he's a breeder of any kind, it's more of his dogs just kind of had puppies and he can't take care of all of them, so he's giving them, selling them to people, basically. Anyway, I'm gonna call it for there tonight. I'm gonna try to get through more of this with my reading sprints. I'm gonna try to get to one of my tabs. I'm very close to the tab that I had set up first, which was around the 200 page mark. It's page 242. So I'm very close to that. I don't have very long left of it. So my goal is I'm going to try to get to this second tab I have here, which is page 358. I don't know what's going to happen with this. We'll see kind of how things go, and I'm just going to kind of go from there. But I think I should be able to hopefully get close to the end of this first audiobook part that I have on YouTube. I'll leave it down in the description for you guys to check out. If you're curious, it is a audiobook that was created for the Wheel of Time, because for some reason I can't get the audiobook through my library, and it's not on Scribd. It's from this place called Taster. They have a bunch of audiobooks, different parts of it, on their YouTube channel. So if you want to listen to the audiobook and can't access it, this is a good place to go, because the narration is actually not that bad. All right, so we're gonna roll for the first sprint and then a break. So let's see what we get. So we have a 15-minute sprint with a 10-minute break. So let's see what we can get through in 15 minutes. First sprint done. We're going to take a 10-minute break, and I'm going to start an episode of Survivor. I'm doing that because I'm on season 6 currently, and I don't know, I want to be able to take breaks by watching something that's enjoyable, and right now that's Survivor. It's my comfort show right now for some reason. I don't know. It's a lot of drama, unnecessarily, but it's very entertaining, and I can see a lot of reason as to why I loved this show so much as a child. So why the heck not? Let's watch something that makes me a little happy, makes it easier for me to get through these sprints. Hey guys, it's going on 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesday. I wasn't necessarily gonna make too much of an attempt to film if I couldn't handle it, but it's been kind of a crummy day. I just spent my entire lunch hour getting the rats all packed up and cleaning out their cage and stuff so that Robert can break it down when he gets back home from getting lunch, and that way he can donate it. I boo-hooed a lot, as you probably can imagine. Yeah, that was probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do. It was clean out their cage. I had to put them in a smaller cage that we used to transport them when we would take them to the vet and stuff. And so they're in there now. They're all comfy and cozy. And now I just gotta wait for Robert to get back to take down the cage, take them out to the shelter, and have them put down. But yeah, cleaning out their cage was probably the hardest thing I've ever done. And that's saying a lot. I didn't realize, like, how I don't even know what the word would be, but cleaning out their cage, I just sat and I cried, and I cried, and I cried, and putting all of the clothes that they had in their cage into trash bags to throw them out, that was also super hard. I mean, nobody tells you how hard everything is after losing anything, a pet, a family member. I think this is the first time that I've had to deal with it in a sense on my own, because every other death that I've encountered, I never had to be 100% a part of. When Denali passed away, one of my family dogs, I wasn't really there. She was put down while I was in the middle of finals, while I was in college. And then Daisy passed away in her sleep. And I was also not home for that. And I was not a part of anything regarding that. When my grandpa passed away, I was too young to deal with a lot of the stuff that was going on. So I was not a part of the divvying up of his stuff, the cleaning of his home, none of that. So this is the first time I'm actively having to deal with the aftermath of losing a pet. And I think that's what hurts the most, is that this is not something I'm used to. This is not something I was expecting to be this hard, and I'm just sad. I'm just sad. Because everybody wishes that they could let their pets live forever. And that's not the case. You can't do anything about it. And I know they've been sick for so long, and so it's only right to let them go and be merciful and not let them suffer any more than they already have. And that's fine and all. I still just wish that they weren't sick. And I wish that they weren't sick so that they could live forever. But that's not ever gonna happen. And while we are gonna be getting a new pet in the next, like, month or so, I'm still gonna go into my office and see that their cage is gone and feel like a part of my heart is missing. Because those girls were everything to me. I just feel like I can be really open and honest and candid and feel like I'm not going to be judged too harshly. And if you are one of those people who are going to comment something nasty about how somebody is showing how they are grieving, over losing an animal or even a family member or somebody that they care about, you're the lowest kind of person in my mind. If anybody really takes the time out of their day to comment something so disgusting and nasty because somebody is openly grieving and wanting to share their experience of their life and their grief with other people, I think that those kinds of people deserve to be in the ninth circle of hell. That just shows to me a lack of compassion, a lack of any kind of human understanding, and if you don't have to watch this, like, you can skip this part of the video if you really want to. You don't have to watch me sit here and cry. If you're gonna take more time out of your day to write a nasty comment about how somebody is grieving openly, when you could be, you know, taking way less time and way less effort to skip this part of the video, like, do you really have nothing better to do with your life? Truthfully. I honestly don't care if people watch this part of the video or not. I know that it's not always great to just watch somebody cry, and it kind of is upsetting, which is why I try to place trigger warnings beforehand for this vlog and last vlog. But if you sat and watched me boohoo and cry and lament, I really appreciate it. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me. And I just really appreciate you taking the time at all to see what I experience. It's gonna be a rough day. Gonna be a rough few days, and I'm gonna try to uplift this video a little bit because I don't want this entire vlog to be me boo-hooing and crying the entire time. There's definitely some levity incoming. You know, one of the things is that my husband decided that we're going to use our old dining table as my desk for the time being because it's a good space, and it does provide quite a bit of room for me to have my monitors and everything. Hey guys, it is after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I've been crying more, as you could probably tell. A few minutes ago, got a text from Robert saying that the girls went peacefully. So they're gone. And it sucks. It really fucking sucks. But I know it was the right decision. And now I've just gotta find a way to pick up the pieces. But I did receive a package today. This was a book I ordered, again, a couple weeks ago. This is the last one that I was waiting on from Amazon, and I'm just waiting to hear about my last book being delivered to my parents' house from Barnes & Noble, and then all of my stuff will be here. I do have a planner, tarot planner coming in on Friday that I ordered also a couple of weeks ago, as well as a diamond painting I had bought when I bought these books through Amazon that should also be here by Friday. I ended up getting a copy of, oh, they packaged this up pretty interestingly. That's weird. Okay. I ended up getting a copy of Salem's Lot by Stephen King. It was just a really cheap used paperback. It's pretty old, but I like it because it's got the vampire on it. But yeah, I read this one. This was one of the first ones I read in my Stephen King reading series. And this is because it was the first horror novel he wrote, but it was technically the second book published that he ever had. They went peacefully, which is all I could ask for. I just feel like I have a hole in my heart right now. And I probably will for some time, and it's okay. So, I'm gonna go. Have been reading some of The Eye of the World today, but I think that for right now, I'm gonna stop filming for today and try to pick up again tomorrow when I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm gonna use the rest of the evening to grieve and just do what I need to. Hi guys, so it is just after 3 o'clock on Thursday. I'm feeling a lot better than I was yesterday, obviously, but yeah, I've just kind of been, I don't know, not necessarily all over the place, but it's just been kind of a slow day, which is kind of just making things more, I don't know. I'm just not 100% as of yet, but I'm feeling better. Last night was really, really rough. The worst I think I have ever felt in a long time. But Today I'm back at it, doing all right. And I was very sluggish today, so I ended up grabbing one of my Alani News. This one is a new flavor I have not tried, and it is cherry slush. Oh, it is so good. I mean, it basically is like sipping complete cherry syrup from like a snow cone kind of idea. That's kind of the point. But it is so good. I love it. This has got to be my favorite one so far of the Alani News I've tried. And it's definitely been perking me up. I've been kind of waking up and stuff. So as far as my reading, yesterday I did end up doing a little bit, but I haven't really touched it, since yesterday afternoon, and I haven't touched it at all today. Yesterday I ended up reading through, I think, like 33 pages, because it was during the day before the girls were taken to be put down. So after that, I just didn't read at all. I was not in the mood. If anything, until Robert finally got back home, I was basically sitting and not even really watching Survivor, but I had Survivor on just because I needed something on. And it didn't seem to really help that much, but it did what I needed to. So I didn't pick this up at all. But I'm currently on chapter 24. Also, today I actually set up a Ko-fi account. So if you guys don't know what Ko-fi is, it's kind of like Patreon, but it's not like a monthly thing. You can basically just purchase a one-time thing where it like up to, I think, as little as $1. That's at least what I have it set for. And, it basically, the idea is that, like, you purchase your favorite creator, like, a cup of coffee, essentially, of some kind. And it's just a way to show support. I decided to go with this as opposed to Patreon because Patreon you do have to pay for every month. And I just don't have the ability to pay for that every month right now. Now, if I was to have like a steady flow of income from like YouTube or something, that would allow me to have Patreon available, like it basically, if I had enough people who would pay me the equivalent of what Patreon would cost me, which is I think like $7 a month for the smallest kind of membership thing, then I would be able to do it. But Ko-fi at the very least is something that it is free to, have an account, and you have a link and everything that you can use. So I will leave it down in the description, and it will be a part of my description from here on out. Please don't feel obligated to use it at all if you don't have the means to be able to show support. But any donations, any tips that you guys give me, essentially will go to helping pay for bills around my home so that I can create more content and have less stress, stuff like that, and then purchasing equipment and stuff like that so that I have better quality content, that kind of thing. It's the same idea that I would have with like Patreon, except this is a free option for me to use until I have the ability to purchase a membership for Patreon and have a steady income every month to support that purchase. This is also just a way for me to, have a little bit more money saved up from here because if you guys don't know, I am on a book buying ban because I'm trying to save some money. Robert and I are just trying to bulk up our savings basically so that we can eventually, start having a family and maybe even be able to buy a home as opposed to renting, which we're currently doing, stuff like that. So if you feel so in your heart to do so, please, check out the link down below. I would greatly appreciate it if you do end up supporting me in some capacity. But again, it is not obligatory. You don't have to do it. I just have it available for the people that would like to support if they are able to, because I know that there are some people that would like to support me financially in some capacity by just donating a little bit here and there. And if you can't do more than $1, that's fine. Just the idea that you are, even watching my content and not even so much, giving me any kind of money, the fact that you're just watching my content means the world to me. So I really appreciate it. But I just created this because I've had some people ask me, in the past, if I would, consider creating something like a Ko-fi or a Patreon. And this was what I decided to do in the new year, was kind of advocate more for that. And also, I will leave my Twitch handle in the description for you guys if you would like to go follow me on there. Again, not obligatory, just would really appreciate the support because I will be streaming on there much more often now that I have a more stable environment to do so, because I was streaming there last year for the first 4 months of the year, and then when I moved to my parents' house, I couldn't stream anymore because I had very crappy internet access, and there were at least 3 people any given day, all hours of the day, using the internet, so that was bogged down ridiculously. But now that it's just me and Robert here, and I'm usually the one that's on the internet the most, and we have really good internet here too, that's gonna make things a lot easier. But anyway, just wanted to kind of update with that stuff because I was thinking about that for a long time, and finally today decided to get that going. Now, I don't have, you know, a ton in terms of like graphics and stuff, but it's whatever. I'm hoping too that in the new year I'll be able to start getting the ability to create new graphics and stuff like that, but I doubt it because, for one, I don't have, like I said, a lot of money to be able to buy things like Photoshop or stuff like that. And on top of that, I am not the most graphic designingly inclined. I'm not good at it. My thumbnails are super basic because of it, because it's just a picture of me with some text. Like that is the most I am able to do. So I don't know whether I'm gonna get some nice graphics or whatever, but you know, I make things work the way that I can. That's low effort, but looks at least kind of decent for me. That's kind of what I go with if you're new here. It's not top quality stuff, but I do what I can, and I'm happy with what I have. Today, in terms of other stuff that I want to do, I am in the process of working on a TikTok for our Battle of the Bookish TikTok, which basically is kind of like what I read in the day kind of thing. I haven't touched this yet today, so I don't know if I'm going to touch it at all until after work. But today I cleaned down the office downstairs a little bit more. I finished basically sweeping up the last of the rat poop and stuff that was sitting on the floor from the cage that kind of was jostled around, and that was kind of sad. But I just cleaned up the office a little bit. I did log another set of authors into my spreadsheet. I did my studying for my witch stuff. I did my therapy work, and today was basically starting a mindfulness journal for about a week. So I started my first day of that, and I'm going to continue doing that every day as my therapy work for the next week until I've hit 7 days. The only other things I wanted to do really today, other than obviously finishing that TikTok and stream, is writing my book, because I haven't written anything in the last few days because I've just been not in the mindset to do so. So I would like to try to write a little bit today. I might do that after work, sit here and crank out the 4 chapters that, you know, I need to write, the 3 that I hadn't written at all this week that I should have written, and then the 1 that I needed to for today. And then I might try to do some diamond painting. I am behind on that a little bit too, in terms of like wanting to do a color every day. But because I was taking it easy on my wrist the best I can, that was pushed to the wayside. But it's feeling good. It doesn't hurt actually at all now. Like, I'm at the point where I can bend it and there's like no pain. It's like a little stiff, but it's not bad at all. Like, I still can't really do this and pop my wrist at all, because like I used to be able to just like pop my wrist, because I'm a knuckle cracker, if you guys haven't been able to tell. But I still can't pop my wrist yet, and I think that's partially why it was aggravated so bad, was I popped it and it did not feel very good afterward, because I can do this one every now and then, but this one is a no-go. So, wow, okay, that Alani New really hit me because I feel like I've been talking very fast, so I apologize. I'm gonna head out for a little while. I'll check in with you guys later when I've made some progress with the Eye of the World. I should probably get a little bit done of this before the end of my workday. It's been going on a week of me reading this. I need to get it done soon, as soon as I can. Like, if I don't get this done by the end of the weekend, I'm gonna be a little upset with myself, because I'm just at that point being lazy. Hi guys, so it is going on 11 o'clock on Friday. I'm in my office again because we have got the office rearranged. So since we took out the rat cage because we donated it after the girls were put down, we needed to, like I said before, change the desk that I basically had, because the desk I had fallen apart. And so we brought out the old dining table that we had since we were living in our apartment a couple years ago, and got it all set up. So I'll give you a quick show of how everything looks, because we've also kind of rearranged the office itself a little bit. So basically, you've got the door over there. That is the door to the bedroom. Sorry for the echo, by the way. It's just because there's not as much stuff in here as there used to be, but I've got my whole thing set up here. my work laptop here. I would have basically had it sitting back behind here and like just basically duplicated the display to this computer, but I just decided I didn't really like that so much. So I've got my work laptop here, normal computer stuff set up here with like Discord and everything going on. The computer itself is sitting here. We basically shifted the desk from this wall over there, which has got like our printer, and that is all of my books for my TBR this month. And then otherwise it's pretty open. I would like to get something like a little shelf maybe to go like over here so I could put like my journals and stuff on it, because I don't want to put too much on this, just because like it's already kind of a little bit cluttered with like the computer and stuff. So I would like to get maybe like a little stand or shelf, something like to go like right about here. And I've got a good, you know, enough room to where I don't feel super trapped being back here. So I do plan on filling up more of that with pictures. That one right there is a Practical Magic inspired print that my sister got for me for Christmas that I absolutely love. But otherwise I only have like a few prints and stuff behind. I have been reading a little bit of The Eye of the World, because like I said yesterday, I didn't get to read at all any of it. I was just super busy with trying to get this room set up after dinner and stuff like that. So I started on page 358 and I'm currently on page 388. So I've read about almost 30 pages basically. So that's good. I think I'm gonna have more time to read this today. I think my big goal for today, besides reading this on my breaks, is I'm gonna try to, after work, I'm gonna read for about probably like half an hour or so, and then I'm gonna get dinner started, because dinner's gonna probably take about half an hour to make. And I've been noticing that by the time it hits about 5 o'clock, 5:30, I'm like starving. So there's that. But I am gonna be getting on my lunch here in a little bit less than an hour, and hopefully that'll get me through for a little while. But anyway, I think things are gonna start picking up again, you know, in terms of my mood. I'm already starting to feel like I'm on the recovery end of my grief. And that is good, but I, you know, in some ways feel a little guilty about trying to heal as soon as I have, because, you know, I feel like it makes me look weird in terms of the fact that, like, did I really even care about my rats? And I did. But at the same time, you know, I knew for a long time it was going to happen, where they were going to have to be put down. So I kind of had been preparing already for it, and I was already in a sense kind of grieving for them for a long time. But just like the actual day of it happening was really rough, because it was actually happening. And now I'm kind of at the point where it's not that I'm like already used to the fact they're gone. I'm definitely not used to them being gone. But I think it's just getting easier already, because I think I'd prepared so much in my mind for their inevitable passing that, I don't know, it just makes it easier for me to be able to start healing. And I think that for a lot of people that have had, you know, really sick animals or sick family or whatever you may have had in the past, you know, of people or things that have passed, that's something that I think is pretty normal, you know, especially for individuals who witness the slow decline of either their pets or family members or friends that like are super, super sick. And like you kind of just mentally prepare yourself. And like when they actually go, it's definitely still really hard, because as much as you prepare, you're not prepared. But I think the grieving after the passing becomes easier, because you kind of had already prepared. That's kind of where my mindset is at this point, which I think is good, but it definitely still feels very weird to not have the rats. It's so quiet in this house anymore. I'm a little concerned about, like, am I gonna go a little crazy with no noise? But then again, we're planning on having a dog here real soon, so it's not gonna be super quiet for too long. It's just gonna definitely be a few weeks where it's gonna be really, really strange. I'm basically gonna be working here for another about 15 minutes before I'm like more on an official break. There's nothing that's come in as of yet though in the last like 20 minutes. So I just took a little bit of time to update you guys on how things are going. But once I get on my break, I'm going to continue reading more of The Eye of the World. And I will be doing so for pretty much the rest of the day, working through this in spurts. So I do also tomorrow have reading sprints on my channel going up. So that'll be exciting. It's going to be about 4 hours worth of sprints. So that is going to make up for some good time to get through this. I would not be surprised if I get close to the end by the end of those sprints tomorrow. I would not be surprised at all, because especially if I'm going to be trucking through a lot of this today, my goal would be to get to like page 500, and then I would think that by the end of the sprints tomorrow, I would be closing in on like 650 maybe in terms of like the page range I would be at, and then I could probably finish it like Saturday night with like reading it some more. Depending on how I feel. Otherwise, my friend Princess, who is also doing participating in the readathon, she does reading sprints on Sunday for about 3 hours or so. So I could, in theory, if I don't finish it Saturday, could finish this Sunday, which would be very good. I would prefer to finish it earlier if I can, but who knows? I don't know how the rest of the evening or anything is going to go. Hello everybody, it is 1:45 on Saturday. I've been up only for about 2 hours, almost, something like that, because it's Saturday, so I wanted to sleep in. I was actually thinking about being up earlier to get some writing in, but that's not going to happen, which is fine, because I'm probably going to need a break from all the reading I'm going to be doing today later on anyway. So yesterday I did get through a good chunk of Eye of the World. I got through 117 pages yesterday, so I'm very proud of myself for actually having done that, considering I've been really slacking the last several days. But today the goal is to get very close to the end, if not finishing this book entirely during sprints. I'm going to be doing sprints from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. today, and I think I could get to like 650 maybe, because I'm on like page 476 right now, so I could probably get a good chunk of this through, and you know, if I can get past that, great. If not, that's fine, because if I can get to page 650, I'll only have like 130 pages, something like that. Like, I won't have very much. Like, I could finish it either later tonight or during the day tomorrow during Princess's sprints. So that is the goal for today. I think that that is completely doable. If I don't get to page 650, that's fine, but no matter what, that is my goal by the end of the day, is to get to that. So if I have to get to 650 later on tonight, that's cool, but you know, that's my big goal. So I did do quite a bit of stuff this morning, though. I cleaned up my library a little bit, just basically like took out the trash and cleaned up the space. I updated points for Battle of the Bookish, which I'll go into right now what our leaderboard is at. So currently we have the Norse team in the lead with average points. They currently have 5,035 total points, but an average of 559.44. The Greeks are coming in second with 7,570 total points, but an average of 378.5 points. Now, the reason that, you know, this is kind of weird with the fact that the Greeks technically have more total points, but a lower average, is because they probably will have more people than the Norse team having put in points. A lot of times what ends up happening is the further we get into this, the more people start putting in their points, the lower that average gets, because it's, you know, being spread out by so many more people. So currently Team Egyptian is in third place, but we're only like 11 points away from the Greek team, and it's still only just now like ending the first full week. So we still have plenty of time for people to get points in, stuff like that. But we currently have a total of 4,550 points with an average of 267.65. 5, and that is after having put in 2 people's points from last night that sent in their points. I think that with the sprints, we're going to have a lot of people be finishing up books. I know that there's quite a few that are close from all the teams that are close to finishing theirs, and I know that this one in particular is going to earn just page points, but this is going to earn an easy 100 points because this is between 500 to 1,000 pages, so that is exciting. I'm excited to finally get this done this weekend and then hopefully get to my other books, because my other books, which are in my office, I've been chomping at the bit to get through, and there's quite a few of them that I'm going to probably read like super quickly because, like I said before, I have 2 graphic novels and a novella that I could probably all read within the same day. Because they're really short, they're not super long. I have another one that I have the audiobook for that I'm going to be reading along with. It is my Critical Role Kith and Kin book by Marika Nijkamp. And then like the other books I have are the second book in this series, which I'll probably also be listening to the audiobook while I read it. And several of them, like, they're fairly short. Like, there's actually even a 4th book I could probably get in with the 3 shorter ones because it's also very short and I could just get stuff out. Boom, 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 boom. That was kind of unintentional, but I'm really glad it worked out that way because that makes me feel a lot better about getting through more things this month because I've been stuck on this for now over a week. But if I can get this done this weekend, that'll make me super happy so I can cram through a ton of other stuff. But that's going to be it for me for right now. I have a little bit more than an hour before our sprints start, so I'm going to make an announcement in our Discord about that, and then I'm going to go take a shower real quick and probably do my makeup and eat my lunch because I am hungry and I haven't eaten anything yet today, and I probably should, especially before sprints. So I think I'm actually going to eat first, then take a shower and do my makeup and basically get prepared for the sprints. So that's the idea for today. So anyway, I will see all of you guys later when I get through a good chunk of the Eye of the World. Like I said, my goal is 650 by the end of the night, so no matter what, I will get to 650, but whether or not I get past that is going to depend on how things go today during our sprints. So it is now, what time is it? 2:08 in the afternoon. So yesterday I ended up doing a lot of reading with the reading sprints. I'm going to make this clip short because I'm just too tired and don't have the energy to talk for very long. But I got through 125 pages of The Eye of the World. Didn't get to my goal that I wanted to yesterday, but it was fine because I ended up just relaxing the rest of the night after having sprinted for 4 hours, basically. So I was going to join in on my friend Princess's sprints today, but I don't think that's going to happen because my mom was supposed to come see me today, but she's just now getting around to come out, and Princess's sprints start at like 3, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be with my mom like the whole time she's going to be doing sprints. I do want to show you guys something though I got in the mail yesterday. It is super awesome. It is what's called a ritual planner. This is basically a tarot spread planner. Like every day you pull out your tarot cards, use them, and you track them basically over the course of the day. It's also got all kinds of cool stuff about the moon phases, the planets, a birth chart. Like it is basically what I think every baby witch should definitely use, because it's not only going to help you with learning how to, you know, practice with your tarot cards. It has a cheat sheet in it if you would like to use it, but the practice of basically going through your tarot cards and using them every day to get certain messages, and especially like a monthly layout, looking at the year ahead, and basically getting in the practice of using the cards, it's what really helped me a lot last year with learning them and getting used to them. And like I said, this planner has like a ton of stuff. Like right now I'm converting the times for all of the void of course moons, which basically is like when the moon shifts in its placement in the sky from like one specific sign to another. Like currently our moon is going through a phase as of now, going through a void of course. And so basically the idea is that like a lot of astrologists will tell you that when the moon is going through this void of course moon, don't start anything new, don't make any big decisions, because like it's not a good time for it. It could be pretty disastrous. But as I'm talking, my camera battery is dying, so I need to go. But that's kind of what I'm doing in the time of waiting for my mother. So I'll talk to you guys probably later tonight when I have a little bit more energy. So I've finally done it. One of the things I got while I was out today was this 4-cube shelf, which is actually very similar to my 9 and 6 cube ones that I have from my bookshelf. But I wanted this one since we moved in because I needed a space to put all my makeup and stuff, because as you've seen before, it was all sitting on the floor. And so now I have a cube dedicated to my makeup and my jewelry. So thank goodness now my life feels a little bit more organized, or at least put away. You know, like this is finally taken care of. On that note, my mom left a little while ago and I made dinner for Robert because he had got home basically like 5 minutes after I did. So I've been a very busy bee. My mom and I ended up going to get groceries, and then we went to have some dinner. And then after that we went over to Target, which is where I got that 4-cube shelf. While my mom was here, one of the things she dropped off was the Barnes & Noble order I had placed online. So I thought I would share with you guys what I ended up getting once I can lower myself enough so you guys can see me. So I have a few packages here because they came in like 3 different shipments. I don't know why, they just did. But let's open up the first one, which I think is the one that has the most in it. Okay, so I ended up getting quite a few also that were when I went to Barnes & Noble on like the 30th, something like that. It was right before the end of the hardback sale. So I don't remember which ones I got though, and honestly they're all put away at this point, so I don't remember what I ended up getting, but these are the ones that I had been waiting on to get because they were accidentally sent to my parents' house as opposed to here. So first thing I got was Paula Hawkins' new book, A Slow Fire Burning. I really like Paula Hawkins' writing. This is also the signed edition, so oh, that's so cool. There's her signature right there. I really liked both The Girl on the Train and Into the Water. I think I gave both like a 4-star. So Paula Hawkins has become an auto-buy author for me. And as far as I know, this is just another standalone, which I think is another mystery thriller. Then I ended up getting a YA contemporary, which is also a signed exclusive edition of Instructions for Dancing by Nicola Yoon. I have read Everything, and I really did like it at the time I read it, but I have not read The Sun Is Also a Star as of yet. But I figured I'd get this one because this one sounded actually pretty interesting, which I think it has to do with a dancing competition. There is her signature right there. Like I said, all of these hardbacks were half off, so even though this one was like a signed one, this book was $20 originally. It was like 10 bucks for this. This next one is not signed, but it is a YA book club exclusive edition from Barnes & Noble, which is Beasts of Prey by Ayana Grace. Gray, not Grace. I always want to say her last name is Grace. It's not. It's Gray. But this is a YA fantasy, and I don't know much about it, but I am basically trying to expand my BIPOC authors, especially in fantasy. Another BIPOC author that I have that I've not read anything from, but I have another book of hers, and this is actually, I think, one of her first middle grade stories, is Amira and Hamza, The War to Save the World by Samir Ahmed. I have heard that Samir Ahmed as an author is actually really cool, and I am also looking to get a lot more middle grade stuff because, especially with things like the Rick Riordan Presents imprint, I'm really getting into reading a lot of the middle grade stuff. Next is actually one of my most anticipated novels from last year because I heard so many people say that it was really good, and that is My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones. I read The Only Good Indians and I absolutely loved it. This is another thriller by him, and I have heard nothing but good things about this. Next, I have The Death of Jane Lawrence by Caitlin Starling. This one I picked up on the recommendation of Olivia from Olivia Reads a Latte. She said that she really liked this, or at least the writing style of it, and it is another thriller of some kind, and it has a lot to do with post-war England, and she said it's also very Crimson Peak-esque. Now, I have not watched Crimson Peak, but it contains one of my favorite actors that I am going to like completely fangirl of anytime I talk about him, but it is Tom Hiddleston. Tom Hiddleston is my man. I love him. If you don't know anything about me, I'm a huge Loki fan because of him. She said that the main guy sounds a lot like the character from Crimson Peak that Tom Hiddleston plays, so I'm very excited to delve into this and kind of drool over somebody like I do for him. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so now next one. This one came by itself. Oh, that was so nice all in one go. But this one came by itself because for some reason it took a lot longer for it to get to my parents, but it is The Maidens by Alex Mikeldees. Actually, this is not the one I was thinking of. It's the one in this other box that I'm thinking of that took the longest. Now, I have read this. I read this in, I want to say, August of 2021 on the recommendation of a friend of mine, and I really liked this. I honestly was shocked by how much I liked it because I didn't think I was going to. And so because of that, I wanted to get my own copy of it since it was on sale for the hardback sale. So I have read this. It's just now going to be a part of my shelves, and I am interested in looking into The Silent Patient because this is a companion novel to The Silent Patient, where basically there's a character who knows the main character in The Silent Patient. And I think this is the last one. There was only one book that took a little bit longer than the rest to get to my parents' house for some reason. I don't know why, but it did. And once again, very satisfying to have the tape go all at once. Okay, now this one I heard a little bit about from Cody from Cody's Book World. I'm gonna say right now, I did not expect it to be this small. I thought this was a fully fledged novel, but it is Nothing But Blackened Teeth by Cassandra Caw. All I know is this is basically a horror story. Those are all the books I ended up getting online from Barnes & Noble. I guess I'll dig through my shelves and see which ones, if I can remember, which ones I got that I purchased physically. I know one of them is one I bought for my husband for basically taking me out there because I asked him if we could go, and he so kindly obliged to driving me to the closest Barnes & Noble we have, and so I bought him a book as a thank you, but I don't know if he would want me to show you that, so let me see if I can find the books that I bought when I was at the store. So one of them was Blackout, the story collection with Danielle Clayton, Tiffany D. Jackson, Nick Stone, Angie Thomas, Ashley Woodfolk, and Nicola Yoon. I also got They Wish They Were Us by Jessica Goodman. Then I got They Went Left by Monica Hess. I also got The Librarian of Auschwitz by Antonio Iturb. This one actually was a recommendation from my sister because she said she really enjoyed this when she took a Holocaust lit class in high school. I got Morgan Matson's newest release, which is Take Me Home Tonight. I am a huge Morgan Matson fan, and I had been wanting to get this for a long time because it was her newest release, so definitely grabbed that one. I also got Karen M. McManus's newest, I think, release, You'll Be the Death of Me. Another author my sister really recommended because she loved One of Us is Lying so much. I also got a copy of Instant Karma by Marissa Meyer. This was actually something I read early in 2021, but I loved it so much that I really wanted a hardback copy like as soon as I saw it, because this is like one of my favorite contemporaries I think I've ever read. especially for YA, which is saying a lot. I also got The Black Kids by Christina Hammonds Reed. I also got the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition of Daughter of the Deep by Rick Riordan. Then I also got a copy, the signed first edition of Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. And I think with that, that is all of the ones I ended up getting when I went to Barnes & Noble. So I got quite a bit. This week's been a bit of a weird one. I apologize. And I don't know exactly how long this vlog is going to be. I hope it's not too long, but it's probably going to be at least over an hour. I don't know, but I'm going to call it here. I haven't done any reading as of yet of Eye of the World today because I was busy doing some stuff, like admin stuff essentially, for like just my daily life, not like for work or anything, but just, you know, getting stuff prepared for the next week. And then my mom was here in the later part of the afternoon, and so I spent a lot of time with her. And then I basically have been just doing a lot of stuff. So I haven't had a chance to read yet today, but I'm gonna get some stuff done, put some points in for Battle of the Bookish, and then I'm gonna go downstairs and get started with reading for the night. Read at least a little bit, because I did want to finish Eye of the World today, but that didn't end up being the case. So I'm gonna try to make sure that this early part of the week I'll get it done, because I don't have much of it. I have maybe 200 pages at the most if we're counting the stuff that's in the glossary. So like 220 something like that. So it's feasible for me to get it done in the next couple of days if I really bust my butt to do it, which is definitely going to be a feat. But I'm going to go and get some stuff taken care of before I do that and read a little bit before bed. But thank you all so much for joining me in this video. Again, I'm sorry for all of the sappy content, the sad content, but again, I'm also not sorry because it is part of my life. In these vlogs, I want to showcase more of my life because it is, you know, I'm putting myself out there. This is my channel, and I know I can get flack for it from a bunch of people, and I might be asking for it. But in all honesty, like, I would much rather be as authentic as I can than try to brush something under the rug that's either really bothering me or is, you know, a part of a human experience that somebody needs to have, like, a validation for, that somebody else, you know, might be suffering with what, you know, I might be going through. And if I can validate somebody's experience of their life with that particular moment, you know, that's what I want. I want people to know that I understand, like, these different things that happen, and that, you know, you're not alone when you're dealing with things like grief and loss and stuff like that. If you guys did enjoy it, please do give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't already and you'd like to be and would like to see more content like this, go ahead and hit that button down below and subscribe to become an owlet in our flock. And I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye, guys!